last time we spoke, I think you just literally left the world premiere at at Fright Fest Halloween.
That's right.
You're
Yeah.
a little bit trying to gather your thoughts. Now that the dust has settled, how are you feeling about how that screening went? Do you hear much feedback for the film?
Yeah, I know. I think with a film like The Sea, there's going to be people that love it and the people that hate it, and then everything in between. I suppose for me, the most important thing is I made a commercial popcorn creature feature and hid a metaphor about social media within it, and I spent quite a lot of time, trying to do lots of layering in the script and in the storyboarding and in the background of the film. Some of it comes out, some of it doesn't. But ultimately, it looks like it's benign. You bring it in the house and it impregnates you and just drives you insane and tries to destroy the planet, which seems to me increasingly every day as a pretty accurate metaphor for social media. So I'm happy. I'm sure there's things that I would change, and there's things that I would have done differently. I would love to have had a little bit more time, and I would have liked to not have had to shoot the end of the film in a warehouse in Manor House. But I did, and it's I think, yeah. I mean, I guess it's as a first film on a really tight budget. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. I think it's done what I intended it to do. It could be better. It could certainly be a lot worse. The thing nearly didn't get bloody finished. It was only because we brought my commercials crew in and we shot a lot of stuff for a week for free that the thing is in any existence at all. So a lot of people really went out of their way to help us get it finished. So it's it's interesting. I would change stuff now, obviously, having watched it, but I can't.
Yeah, but you directors are never happy. I mean, look at Ridley. He's still, going back and tinkering with Alien and Blade Runner and stuff. You guys are never happy.
I'm really happy with my three of my short films. I'm like, I know they're not perfect, but I was able to do with them what I wanted exactly. And you're never going to be. Maybe more dust needs to settle. No, I am happy with it. I'm happy with it. I think it does what I intended it to do. It does what I intended it to do. And under the, it was supposed to be in California. We're in Malta because of the bloody global pandemic. Budget was tight. Had an amazing cast. You win some, you lose some. I guess in life.
I mean, it's this weird and wacky story, one told through the perspective of three women. Why did you decide to tell it from that sort of female perspective?
Why did I want to tell it from a female perspective? I guess I've been watching a lot of influencers from Coachella, and a lot of them were female. There weren't so many male ones. I did cross my mind to put a man into the mix, and I did try writing it like that, and it just didn't feel like it was. It just didn't feel like it would have sat in the right way. There wasn't really any reason why it couldn't have been three men, I guess. It just felt that was the way to do it for me when I was writing it.
And I mean, what do you think, had you, sort of flipped it around, had you made it three men, what do you think their reaction to this creature would have been?
I mean, I guess it would have been the same. There would have been one sort of alpha, slightly more vanitous character, and there would have been one in the middle and one who was kind of on the outside. I probably would have still got them all pregnant. In fact, I know I would have done, because I did think about it. I did think about having D as a guy and having him going, "Oh, my abs, where's my abs gone?" And as I wrote it, it just felt like I was layering in complexity that I didn't really need. Also, I guess, I did think about it, and I ended up, because I was a little bit like, I'm a male director working with three women. Maybe I need to have a little think about this. And I did, and I've read a lot of sort of critical theory about horror films and women, and I thought a lot about it. And at the end of the day, I thought, well, there's also important to have three really great roles for three female actresses. There's nothing wrong with that, And I don't see why male directors can't work with women or women can't work with men. It doesn't seem to me that there should be a problem with that.
I think it's what we touched upon earlier. There's lots of themes and issues explored. You've got the over-reliance on social media and the harm that it can do and the disconnect that it causes between others around us. The toxicity of some friendships. There's some people that you sort of keep in your life who you should just probably bin off, but because you've been friends since you know, the playground, you know, you kind of let these things slide. And then I think, you know, I sort of touched upon with you before,
Yeah.
it almost explores the modern attitudes around parenting. You know, each woman's reaction could also be transplanted into a "I'm pregnant, what do I do" sort of scenario.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, you know, given the more wild story aspects, you know, why did you want to sort of include these other things sort of hidden inside? Was it so that it, like you said earlier, you know, it wasn't just a, you know, disengaged brain and watch the carnage? You actually wanted to engage the audience on some level.
In terms of the pregnancies.
Which is everything,
Sorry.
you know, like having all of this, you know, this sort of richness to it. You know, I mean, like, you know, a lot of B movies are, and films of that ilk are just, you know, alien attacks, defeat alien, the end. But this has got, as soon as you start digging, like you said,
Yeah.
you know,
I
why
mean,
did you have to layer it like that?
I just, you know, I mean, my background and the films that I love are incredibly layered. Like I love Almodovar, you know, like I like genre cinema. I like Alien, but I love Almodovar. I love Jan Svankmajer, but you know, I like Bad Lieutenant. I like complex characters. You know, Dee is a toxic creature, but she's correct in one decision. She's actually quite correct, which is kill that thing. And if that, you know, which is, and Charlotte. So you know, oftentimes you have a sort of stereotypical character. We have the kind of more geeky girl that's more, or the more geeky character that's like, you know, that would be wearing glasses typically in a horror film, and the ponytail, yeah, and which you see all the time, you know. But and then you would have the more sort of like, let's say, sort of glammed up D character that would be the cliche. But she actually, you know, she has a moment where she's completely correct. And for all Charlotte's compassion, she's wrong. She shouldn't be bringing that thing in the house. She should be smashing it in the head with a club immediately. So I think that it's taking, you know, genre cinema has got tons of well-trodden paths in it. So I suppose as a writer and a director, you're trying to, you know, challenge those, play to the kind of what people understand or expect to happen, and sort of swap it around a little bit. Because those are the films that I like. I like complicated characters and complicated film within films. You know, like you know, where it's not like the good guy's good and the bad guy's bad, or the good girl's good, bad girl's bad. You know, it's. And also as an artist, it's quite weird. You just get all these weird elements and you just put them into the insane collider that is making a film in a pandemic with hardly any money. And just see what happens. And you know, you start out with lots of intentions, and then you end up with something at the end. You know, you write one film, you shoot another one, and then you edit another one. So you're never quite sure what's going to go into it, I guess. But you know, I was very with my character, with my actresses. I was like, you know, what do you think of this character? How does this come across to you? What do you feel about it? I wasn't like, oh, I think this about ladies, you know. And Lucy was very clear. She was like, you know, I think this character, you know, she could see that there was depth there, because there's a sadness to Dee. In the original script, it's more apparent than what actually ended up in the film. But the resonance is there, that she's kind of. She's got a partner and it's not quite working. They're all kind of slightly, they've all got lots of layers to them, I guess. That the actresses brought to the show themselves as well.
And you know, The Seed, as you know, it's now part of the Shudder family. How are you feeling about finding that home for the film?
Pretty great, actually. It's interesting, having spent best part of 16 years trying to get a film made. And resorting to becoming a painter for 4 years so I could keep being creative, and trying all sorts of tricks, writing all sorts of things, and you know, going to see all sorts of funding bodies and producers, what have you. To have someone like Shudder come along and support genre cinema out there, interesting genre cinema as they're doing. And I know a couple of other directors who've got projects with them that I'm not going to mention, but they are really starting to look. Like the go-to for interesting art house cinema, which is, you know, there's no way that a film like The Seed would you know, would have got the play it's going to get without that connection with Shudder. So I guess they're kind of newer to the scene, but you know, so far so very happy about it, frankly. And after such a long time of, you know, also you think, God, well, like, how many other films are there that you're going to get to see that are interesting, unusual, that wouldn't, because I know they're getting into, they're, you know, financing films and all sorts and getting involved. So, you know, that speaks very positively for the future of genre cinema, I think.
Oh, definitely. And I guess, my last question, I know The Sea took many years to come into life. Have you had a chance to get the next one rolling?
Well, actually, The Seed it's weird. It took many years not to make the other ones that I'd been trying to get off the ground. The Seed actually happened pretty quickly because I was so frustrated with the other ones not happening. I sat down and wrote it in 2.5 weeks in a fit of in a fit of fury. And I've got a bunch of other projects on the back burner, genre stuff. I'm in Egypt at the moment, and having a look at a few locations for another desert-based film, but a different type of thing with nuns. So I'm a massive fan of the Devils. I'm a massive fan of Black Narcissus, and I guess you kind of want to make stuff that is so you can relive those feelings that you have in a way. So I've got this really bonkers kind of like Lars von Trier meets kind of Black Narcissus meets the Devils, kind of meets what's that crazy Japanese one where they whip them with thorns? I can't remember. Beast, some Church of the Holy Beast, I think it's called. But yeah, so yeah, I've got that going, and sort of hoping to try and do another film within the next year, I guess. Fingers crossed. Who knows?
Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing what you cook up.
Yeah, thanks, Kat. And it's interesting to read I read your reviews and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's interesting. It's always great to get other people's opinions and thoughts and takes, and I love the way different people see film differently. Someone else, I saw a review in Rue Morgue that saw it completely all in a completely different way. So it's really interesting to see this take on. I found it very interesting what you were saying about maternity and pregnancy and different women's perspectives on. Yeah, fascinating. So thank you for your time with that.
I mean, I think since I've got a 3-year-old, and I think since I've had her, everything sort of I am sort of looking at everything, I guess, through a mother's eye. And I did sort of find, one of them wants to take it in and look after it, and the other one's like, this is going to ruin us, let's get rid of it. And I did sort of, and then how they interact with it, one of them's very hands-on and mumsy, and the other one, I guess you could, consider was like, being postnatally depressed or, not engaged in.
No, it's really, I mean, that's one of the things about art, isn't it? And I'm not saying I've made the greatest piece of art in history, but I like, if you make stuff, it's really, people will read things in different ways, and I think that's I find that really fascinating that you've read it that way. And the next time I see the film, I'm gonna really think about that as well, I think. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm going to let you go, and hopefully I'll pass across again.
Yeah, take care. Lovely to meet you again.